Let me speak directly to your spirit. Your potential is being suffocated. It's not because you're incapable. It's not because you lack opportunity. It's not even because the world is against you. No, your greatest limitation is the one you've accepted as a lifestyle, your comfort zone. That invisible fence you've built around your habits, your thinking, your expectations. It feels safe, but it is choking the life out of who you could become. You were not created for stillness. You were created for expansion. God did not form you in His image just so you could settle into routines that require no courage. There is something greater inside you, but it cannot grow in ease. Potential demands oxygen. It needs struggle. It needs challenge. And when you choose comfort over calling, when you avoid resistance in the name of convenience, you are slowly shrinking your life to fit a version of yourself that's far too small. Think of it like this. Imagine a powerful eagle created to soar above mountains being raised in a cage. The cage becomes familiar. The eagle doesn't know it's trapped. It just thinks that's life. It hops from perch to perch, spreads its wings but never flies, eats the same food every day, never hunting, never rising. The problem isn't that it lacks power. The problem is it's never been pushed to use it. That's exactly what many of us are doing. You were designed to soar, but you're stuck hopping from one familiar thing to another. Why? Because the cage is cozy. You've gotten used to thinking small, dreaming small, living small, and yet deep down your soul is restless. That's not dissatisfaction. That's your divine nature resisting the trap of comfort. It's your potential gasping for air. But here's the good news. The cage door is open. It's always been open. You just have to choose to fly. You have to choose to leave behind the predictability of comfort and step into the uncertainty of purpose. Will it be scary? Yes. Will it stretch you? Absolutely. But every time you break a pattern of fear-driven comfort, you breathe life into your destiny. So let me challenge you. What are you doing today that is keeping your potential in a box? What conversation are you avoiding? What dream have you been sitting on? What skill are you refusing to develop because it's unfamiliar? Stop waiting for life to get easier. Start becoming someone stronger, because you are not here to merely exist. You are here to grow, to lead, to create, to transform, and none of that happens while you're playing it safe. Step out of that comfort zone, and you will finally meet the person you were always meant to be. Comfort feels good, let's be honest. It's warm, familiar, predictable. But here's the truth that most people don't want to face. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It doesn't nurture your greatness. It numbs it. It doesn't develop your strength. It dilutes it. The longer you stay comfortable, the more you delay your transformation. You cannot grow without resistance. Growth, by its very nature, is disruptive. Muscles don't grow without tension. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. Trees don't take root without breaking through soil. And neither will you rise without being pushed out of what's easy. If you want to evolve spiritually, emotionally, financially, or personally, you must be willing to feel discomfort. You must learn to lean into challenge, not escape it. Comfort whispers, stay here. Don't rock the boat. Don't take that leap. It lulls you into a spiritual slumber where you stop reaching, stop believing, stop stretching. But growth speaks differently. Growth says there is more in you. There is ground to take. There is a level you haven't touched yet. But that voice can only be heard when you silence the noise of comfort. Let me give you a simple everyday example. Imagine someone who wants to get in shape. They sign up for the gym, but every time the workout gets hard, they stop. Every time they feel a burn, they quit. They tell themselves, this is too much, I'll just go for a walk instead. Weeks go by. They're doing something, but not changing. Why? Because comfort became the priority, not growth. The same principle applies to life. You can go through the motions. You can show up but stay safe. And when you do, you'll look busy, but you'll stay stuck. Now let me take this deeper. Even spiritually, growth requires surrender. When God calls you higher, He often leads you into the unknown. That's where your faith is tested. That's where your character is shaped. The problem is, we want resurrection without the cross. We want victory without the valley. But it doesn't work like that. You can't step into purpose while clinging to what's comfortable. So I ask you, what is comfort costing you? Is it the book you never wrote, the business you never launched, the healing you never pursued? How long will you keep trading growth for ease? Today is the day to declare war on comfort. Get up earlier. Speak with courage. Say yes to the thing that scares you but stretches you, because every time you choose growth over comfort, you step into your power. And when you do it consistently, you build a life that looks like your vision, not just your routine. Comfort is the enemy. Growth is your ally. And if you're ready to grow, you've got to get uncomfortable. Let's get one thing straight. Your comfort zone isn't protecting you. It's limiting you. You think it's a place of safety. It feels like control. It looks like peace. But when you strip it down to its core, your comfort zone is made of fear, not safety. Fear. Fear of failing, fear of being seen, fear of what others will say, fear of what might happen if you step out and it doesn't go perfectly. The reason you stay in your comfort zone isn't because life is good there. It's because fear has lied to you long enough for you to believe that discomfort equals danger. But what if the danger isn't outside the comfort zone? What if the real danger is inside, in the slow erosion of your potential, the quiet settling of your spirit, the daily silencing of your calling? Let me paint you a picture. Picture a young boy who's afraid of the dark. So every night, he refuses to leave his bed unless the lights are on. He tells himself, it's safer here. But the truth is, there's nothing dangerous in the dark. He's just never trained his eyes to adjust. It's the same with life. Your fear doesn't reflect reality. It reflects inexperience. The more you avoid the unknown, the more you assume it's dangerous. But in most cases, it's not. It's just unfamiliar. And what's unfamiliar is often the path to the miraculous. Now, spiritually speaking, this gets deeper because fear is not from God. Scripture says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So if fear is governing your decisions, you're not walking in divine alignment. You're walking in spiritual retreat. Fear is the gatekeeper of the comfort zone, and every time you obey it, you reject the authority that's already been given to you. Listen, the enemy of your soul doesn't have to destroy you outright. He just needs you to believe that fear is a valid reason to stay the same. That's enough to keep you from rising, but you were not born to live behind the walls of what-ifs. You were created to walk by faith, not sight, to move even when you don't know all the answers, to act even when your hands are trembling. So ask yourself, what have you been calling wisdom that's really just fear dressed in logic? What dream have you delayed in the name of timing, when the truth is, you're scared of failing? Here's the challenge. Don't wait until the fear is gone. Move while it's still there. Let faith speak louder. Let vision lead the way. Because once you expose fear for what it really is, a lie, you'll begin to walk in the boldness that's been inside you all along. Fear built your comfort zone, but faith will tear it down. And once it's gone, there's no limit to what you'll step into.
Let's not sugarcoat this. You will never become great without risk. You will never unlock the highest version of yourself while clinging to safety. Why? Because greatness always comes at a price. It demands courage. It demands discomfort. And more than anything, it demands that you bet on the unseen. You see, average is always available. The path of least resistance is open 24/7. You can choose it any time. But greatness has a gate, and that gate is guarded by risk. It will ask you to let go of what's good in pursuit of what's extraordinary. It will ask you to step into places where the outcome isn't guaranteed, but the growth is. Think about the story of Peter stepping out of the boat. The storm was raging, the wind was loud, and Jesus was out there standing on water. Peter didn't wait for the storm to stop. He didn't ask for a safety net. He simply said, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come." And with one word, "Come," Peter stepped out. Was it risky? Absolutely. But that moment of risk revealed something the others would never experience. The supernatural power of stepping into the unknown when faith calls you forward. Let me bring it to your everyday life. Imagine someone who wants to start a business. They have the vision. They have the talent, but they keep saying, I'm not ready yet. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? So they keep waiting year after year. They settle for the paycheck, the routine, the safety, but deep down they know they never even tried. The fear of risk became the death of their dream. Greatness isn't for the hesitant. It's not for the ones who need every variable controlled before they act. It's for the ones who are willing to jump before the parachute is fully visible, because they know that God doesn't reveal the entire plan before you take the first step. He honors motion, not just intention. Listen, if you're waiting for everything to make sense, you're not chasing greatness, you're chasing comfort. But the call on your life won't fit inside what's predictable. It will stretch you. It will demand sacrifices. It will ask you to give up things that are good in order to receive what is God ordained. So the question is not, will there be risk? The question is the reward worth it? And if the reward is becoming the person you were divinely designed to be, then the answer is always yes. Stop playing small. Stop choosing what's easy over what's essential. This is your season to leap, not recklessly, but boldly. Because every time you take a risk aligned with your calling, you move closer to the greatness that's already inside you. The boat is comfortable, the water is wild, but that's where the miracles are. It doesn't happen all at once. That's what makes it so dangerous. Comfort doesn't knock you out in a day. It drains you quietly over time. It's a slow killer. You don't notice it at first. You're just taking a break. You're playing it safe. You tell yourself you'll push tomorrow, but then weeks pass, months pass, and without realizing it, you've gone from being alive to just existing. Comfort is subtle. It pretends to be your friend. It tells you you've earned the right to relax, to settle, to stay where you are. It whispers, why make things harder than they need to be? And if you listen to that voice long enough, it becomes the soundtrack of your life. Until one day you look around and realize you've been stuck for years, mistaking stillness for peace. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a glass of clean water. You leave it out on the table, untouched, uncovered. At first, it still looks fine, but after a while, dust settles in. Bacteria starts forming. The water becomes stale, and eventually, it's undrinkable. Not because something dramatic happened, but because nothing happened. It just sat there. That's what comfort does to your spirit. When you're not being stirred, challenged, or moved, you stagnate. And stagnation is not neutral, it's toxic. Spiritually, this is even more serious, because God didn't call you to be still in your purpose. He didn't place fire in your bones just so you could sit on your gifts. Look at the lives of anyone used mightily by God. Abraham, Moses, David, Esther, Paul. None of them fulfilled their calling in comfort. They were stretched, pressed, tested. Why? Because the calling requires character, and character is forged in discomfort, not convenience. The enemy doesn't need to ruin your life dramatically. All he has to do is keep you comfortable, distracted, passive, because comfort is the graveyard of greatness. You won't feel the damage until years later, when you realize what you could have done, what you could have become. So let me ask you, how much longer will you let comfort steal your time, your fire, your destiny? How many more years are you going to explain away your lack of progress as waiting for the right time? It's not too late, but it is urgent. Get uncomfortable on purpose. Do something every day that scares you, that grows you, that demands more of you. Because every time you move against comfort, you reclaim a piece of your power. You breathe life back into the parts of you that have been asleep. Comfort is a killer. But discomfort is a signal. It means you're alive. It means you're stretching. It means you're becoming. So choose to become. Choose life. Choose the fire that forges you, not the softness that spoils you. If you ever feel like you're meant for more, it's because you are. That restless pull in your spirit, That deep sense that life isn't just about routines and responsibilities. That's not fantasy. That's not ego. That's the whisper of your calling. But here's the truth. Your calling will never meet you in your comfort zone. It lives outside the zone. And until you're willing to step out, you will never fully step into who you were created to be. Your comfort zone is a controlled environment. It's built on what you already know, what you're already good at, what doesn't require faith. But your calling exists in the realm of trust, obedience, and stretching. It demands you do things you've never done. It challenges you to go places you've never gone. It forces you to become someone you've never been. Think about the story of Abraham. God told him, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you." Not, "Go to the land I have prepared and explained in detail." No, "Go, and I will show you." Why? Because callings aren't delivered with a map. They're discovered through movement. And that movement always starts outside the zone. Let me give you something practical. Picture someone with a gift for speaking, but they've never spoken publicly. They feel the fire inside. They dream of inspiring others, of impacting lives, but every time they're invited to speak, they decline. Why? Because fear shows up. Because they've never done it before. Because comfort feels safer. And as the years pass, the calling is still there, but buried under layers of inaction. Now imagine if that same person said yes, just once. Maybe their voice shakes. Maybe it's not perfect, but they do it. And in that moment, they realize, this is what I was born for. That one step outside the comfort zone begins to unlock an entire life of purpose. This is what I'm telling you. The fullness of your purpose will never reveal itself while you're playing it safe. You're asking God to show you more, but you're not moving with what He already gave you. You want clarity before obedience, but faith works the other way around. You obey, then the clarity comes. So what's the calling on your life that you've been keeping in the shadows? What's the bold move you've avoided because it's unfamiliar? Your comfort zone is not the will of God. It's the will of fear. And you weren't created to worship fear. You were created to walk by faith. Every step outside the zone brings you closer to alignment. Every act of courage peels back another layer of who you really are. Your destiny is not behind you. It's not beside you. It's out there, past the line your fear told you not to cross.
Transformation doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't come knocking on your door while you're comfortable, cozy, and at ease. No, transformation demands discomfort. It requires you to pay the price of challenge, struggle, and pushing through what feels hard. Discomfort is the currency you spend to upgrade your life. Think about the process of growth in nature. A seed doesn't sprout into a mighty tree without first cracking open, breaking through the hard soil, and reaching into the unknown. That breaking is uncomfortable, it's painful, but it's necessary. The seed must break for new life to emerge. Your life is no different. Spiritually, the same principle holds true. God never calls us to stay where we are. He calls us into deeper, fuller life. But that deeper life always requires leaving behind what is familiar. It asks us to endure trials, to persevere through moments of doubt, to face fears that we never expected to confront. Those moments of discomfort aren't signs that you're off track. They're signs that you're on track. They are the refining fire that purifies your character and expands your capacity. Here's a practical example. Imagine someone wanting to improve their health. They can't expect to become stronger, faster, or healthier by always choosing the easy route. They have to embrace the soreness after a workout, the fatigue, the discipline of diet changes. That discomfort is not punishment. It's the price of progress. Without it, the body never transforms. Without discomfort, the spirit never expands. Now apply that to your dreams, your faith, your purpose. What discomfort are you avoiding today that's standing between you and your breakthrough? What truth are you unwilling to face because it feels hard? What conversation have you delayed because it feels risky? Each one of those moments is a toll gate on your path. You can pay it with fear and stay the same, or you can pay it with faith and become new. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's the currency God uses to buy transformation. The question is, are you willing to pay the price? Every step into discomfort is a deposit into the bank of your destiny. The more you endure and embrace, the richer your life becomes. You're not just surviving pain, you're using it as fuel to rise higher. So when discomfort knocks, don't shut the door, open it wide, invite it in. Because inside that uncomfortable moment is the power to remake your future. Transformation waits for no one, but it will meet everyone who's willing to step into the fire. Now listen closely, because this is where it all comes together. You've heard the truth. Your comfort zone is holding you hostage. It's suffocating your potential, built on fear and disguised as safety. But here's the challenge I'm throwing down for you today. Step into who you were born to be. This is not just about a goal or a dream. It's about your very identity. You were created for greatness, for impact, for a life that leaves a legacy. But you can only step into that identity by breaking free from the chains of comfort. It will take courage. It will take sacrifice. It will take faith. But it's the only way forward. Ask yourself, what would my life look like if I stopped hiding? If I stopped making excuses? If I stopped waiting for the perfect moment? Because that perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment you truly have is now. Remember, the heroes of history, the leaders, the innovators, they didn't wait for all the stars to align. They made the move. They embraced risk. They accepted discomfort. And because of that, they changed their world. You can do the same. So today, I challenge you to stand up, to look fear in the eye and say, you do not control me, to step into the fire of your calling with boldness, to walk away from what's easy and move toward what's extraordinary. Your future isn't waiting for you in the comfort zone. It's waiting on the other side of your decision to act. This moment right now, this is your beginning. Rise up with purpose, move with intention, and live with the conviction that you were made for more. Your future begins now.